To Iowa Republican Senator Joni Ernst. Right now, of course, she is sort of in the bullseye of all of this, or her constituents are. In Iowa, of course, a big farming state. Senator, good to have you.
Yeah, thanks so much, Neil.
You know, I'm just wondering then if this is dragged out or potentially dragged out for maybe very valid reasons. You know, farmers have been given credits and the rest and some sort of allowances coming from some of these tariffs already paid to compensate them, but it's not nearly enough, is it?
Right. You know, the subsidies do help, but my farmers back home, they certainly want trade, not aid. But I am looking to the president to make a good deal, whether that's with China or Japan, UK, EU, you name it. He is a very tough negotiator. So where we are with soybean farmers in Iowa, one of the largest hit groups, they're sticking with the president on this. They have told me that the pain they're feeling from the tariffs right now on soybeans is no different than the pain they have felt 5 years ago from China, 10 years ago from China, and so on and so forth. You see the picture.
Yeah, what I don't see, or at least is any consistent read out of the administration of who's on first, so to speak. We had the president hinting, you know, I might roll back these 25% tariffs to 10% tariffs, and just a few minutes ago on Fox News, Larry Kudlow saying that no, they might still happen. So if you're the Chinese or those trying to interpret what happens next, you got to be confused.
Well, I tell you, I think the president is keeping all of those negotiators from China, from Japan, and so forth on their toes. I continue
to visit. Well, do you think that applies to his own staff?
It might apply to his staff as well. But I would say, though, that I continually visit with the president and underscore the emphasis that we do need to find good trade deals. You know, I'm not a fan of tariffs with China. I fully understand the president's intentions. But at the end of the day, we really do want to see those trade deals done. It's very, very important for my constituents in Iowa.
Let's talk about something else that's near and dear to you right now and trying to get something done on the drug legislation front. Can you update me?
Absolutely. We had a Judiciary Committee meeting this morning where we did address a number of prescription pricing bills. Two of those that did pass were sponsored by me and others. A very bipartisan effort across the board on a number of these bills. One would close the loopholes for sham patent transfers. The other one focuses on transparency with the middlemen that are negotiating drug prices. So we are truly trying to do the best we can in these tough times to get those prices lower for that end consumer. Our families shouldn't have to choose between making a mortgage payment and actually purchasing and utilizing those life-saving prescriptions.
Who is against this? I can imagine maybe some of the drug makers that they don't want, you know, to put a cap on all their research and development and go into these drugs, some of them very expensive. But even there, there's wide latitude in this legislation to allow them, you know, still to recoup those costs, but just not to gouge. I think that's the idea.
Right. That is the idea. And what I've tried to push with a number of those pharmaceutical companies is at the end of the day, when you have a dad who's working really hard to provide and be able to purchase a prescription, a life-saving drug to make his daughter's life better back home, you know, we should be focusing on that. We know the complications behind with the research and development. We want to continue that and be a leader here in the United States of America. But all in all, if you can't afford those prescriptions, then what's the use in developing them?